Certified by Weather Rate. Sponsored by AC Designs.
Well, gotta do it to him.
'Cause I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. My problems have all gone. There's no one to
Deride me.
But you
Gotta have friends. Stop singing, donkey. I got no friends today. You gotta have friends, but I got none. It's just me. It's just your chief meteorologist, Lou Turner, hanging out on a 4:30 stream. Going to be with you till about 4:56. So we're going to talk all kinds of things through tonight and then into the weekend. We got some things changing over the weekend, and we're going to look even out to Halloween. Trick or treat forecasting for us as well. I've got a mint in my mouth. What an unprofessional move. Take the graphic full so I can take this thing out of my mouth. You mind? I just don't want to like spit. There we go. Absolutely perfect. Now I can broadcast clearly. My professor in broadcast, one of my first ones was a guy named Tim Brown, who I think is at UCF now. He was at South Carolina. And he always said, Lewis, shoulders back, head up high, loudest, clearest broadcast voice. So I can't do that with a Werther's Original in my mouth. All right, we're going to go to St. Augustine. Let's talk about the evening. Gorgeous. You can't beat it. Another day in a row of outstanding 10 out of 10 weather. And we're looking like some changes will be coming. All right, so we've got the local nor'easter setting up for our weekend. We will dive into that. In the meantime, there is your current condition. Those northeast winds are already picking up, in fact, northeast at 15, and they're only going to continue to freshen as we get to Saturday and then to Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting gusts to 40 as we get into Sunday. And the world is connected. The atmosphere is all connected, and this actually indirectly will be because of low pressure to our south, Melissa, and high pressure to our north. And you get that tight pressure gradient, you get those winds picking up. So we're going to have a nor'easter coming Saturday, Sunday. Oh, and the Bridge of Lights is up. We're catching it on a stream. That means you get to make a weather wish. So what's your weather wish? Is it for a beautiful rest of your afternoon and evening? Lots of folks out there on a Friday taking advantage of the beach. This is your time lapse through the afternoon. And notice, I mean, even watching the hours-long time lapse, hard-pressed to find any clouds, but breezes off the beach. The rest of your evening, as the sun goes down, cooling down to those low mid-60s, depending on what time your plans are for going out. If you have an early dinner, date night, going to the movies, or maybe some high school football. When the sun goes down, you might want the light layer. It's been warm today. It'll be warm again tomorrow in those upper 70s to near 80. But tonight we're dipping down to the mid-50s. Now, I know we've had a couple of mornings in a row of chilly temperatures. We had mid-40s on Thursday morning, upper 40s, low 50s as we woke up today. Not quite that cool for Saturday morning. I think with the winds picking up, that's going to kind of prevent those temperatures from dropping too quickly. And a nice afternoon Saturday inland. At the beach, though, those clouds are going to build in. So we're looking at partly cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions, a small chance of rain on Saturday because of those strong northeast winds. All right, football. Who you got? We got game of the week. So this is where the sports team is going to be set up tonight during our broadcasts. So if you got interests in Reigns, the Vikings hosting Yulee. Great game. I know there are some implications here. And, not being the sports guy, I need Chris Porter to kind of come and sit on my left side over here and help me out with some of those implications. But this is obviously it's game of the week, so it's a big game. But these are two really, really good football teams. Feeling like football tonight. So sun goes down. Going to get sunset around 6:45. And then by that point, we're going to get that light east breeze, and it'll be on the cooler side. Comfy, but cooler. So you'll be fine in a light sweater at your game of the week, and that applies to any of your outdoor plans. If you're going out to dinner, the early bird special, if you're going at 5, so you're about to sneak out the door, temperature is going to be in those mid-70s, but by the time maybe you're doing the outdoor dining later on in the evening, have that sweater handy. So let's talk about our weekend. The pick of the weekend, if you had to pick, so I know we got Sea and Sky Show. I'm going to have that forecast for you coming up. If the outdoor plans you had to choose between Saturday or Sunday, and you live east of the Intracoastal, so you're out towards the beaches. I'm picking Saturday just because not quite as windy, but it will be breezy at the beach, and the rain chances aren't quite as high. Got an interesting setup happening for Sunday that kind of has my confidence going up just a bit, the spidey senses going off just a bit, the hairs on the back of my neck standing up with the potential for some quick downpours Sunday afternoon. Of course, there's a lot of things going on, so maybe a few showers around the beaches primarily on Sunday. I think if you're 95 corridor and west, you're not worried about the rain too much. All right, so let us transition now. We're going to talk about the tropics. And this storm is getting a little better organized, getting a little more impressive looking, and it is about to start. While the motion right now is still very, very slow at 2 miles an hour. We're going to get a 5 o'clock update here any minute. And when that comes in, I anticipate where you see the motions at east-southeast, probably going to get more of an east-northeast. You can kind of see on satellite a little bit of a drift to the north there, but it is creeping along, and it's why the forecast cone has been less of a cone and more of a circle. The forecast cone going out 5 days. When the storm's not going to move that much over the course of 5 days in the forecast, the cone doesn't extend that far. You're used to seeing, these storms picking up forward speed as they get caught in steering currents, and that just has not quite happened yet. But Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba all need to be monitoring this. The Bahamas very carefully monitoring this storm, because we're talking about for Jamaica and Cuba, Haiti, the rainfall amounts were life-threatening condition in terms of mudslides, landslides. It's mountainous, as you know, so the flooding, that's going to be a problem, especially considering how slow this is moving and how strong this storm is forecast to be. So not quite a hurricane yet at 60-mile-an-hour winds. Of course, we've got to get up to 74. And let's take a look at that forecast cone. Now, it is more conical now. We the last couple of days we've been watching this, and it just had that circle look, didn't it? But you can see the forecast from the Hurricane Center now showing that true turn to the north and then back to the northeast even as it approaches Cuba. But it's going to take a while. It's Friday now, so notice day 1 Saturday, day 2 Sunday, day 3 Monday, day 4 Tuesday, day 5 Wednesday. So all the way out to the end of the cone, we're looking at Wednesday before this gets caught in its the next trough coming across the country and finally gets steered out to sea. And you can see that trough. Look back towards Dallas if you look at your map there. So you're looking back towards Dallas. You can see what's coming across. That's ultimately going to help push this out and away. That first trough you can see kind of lined up, the cloud cover from Bermuda extending down to San Juan, Puerto Rico, kind of doing its best to stall it, and really some dry air and shear acting as a barrier for this thing to move much further into the western Caribbean. Of course, there were some models that had this going out towards Central America or Mexico, and that's since changed. Just too much steering current keeping that away right now. So looking at your cone there, the little closer look, Jamaica, Cuba, Guantanamo Bay, of course, we have local interest in that. We've got to be very, very careful. All right, so forecast modeling. Let's take a look at some spaghetti for dinner if you're interested in that. And you can see whether it's a little further west, a little further east, one way or another, we've got extremely high confidence that this takes that hard right turn and has very limited impacts on the southeastern United States. Now, again, as I mentioned, everything's connected. The atmosphere, it will be impacted downstream. So we may get a tightening pressure gradient, which means bigger winds as we go through our weekend. And by the time we get to Wednesday in southeast Florida, perhaps Miami gets a band of showers or some breezy conditions, coastal issues, but nothing too bad to write home about. All right, so model comparison. If spaghetti is not in the diet and you like kind of this look with the isobars, concentric circles indicating where the system is, GFS, your American model, American global model, European model is in yellow. The other main global model, the two main global models that Hurricane Center really takes into consideration. Seems like Hurricane Center is kind of leaning towards the European model resolution right now, but the only real difference is speed. Most similar in direction as well, while the Euro is a little bit further to the west. It also has it much, much stronger Category 4 potential for Category 5 conditions as this then zips way up to the north. All right, we're going to continue talking tropics. We're going to look at our local conditions and the Halloween week when you come back after this short break. All right, so we've got Melissa on our minds, of course, but as we look at the rest of the tropics, and we always talk, the hurricane season, of course, extends all the way to November 30th. So we got to, mind our P's and Q's and be aware and alert. But I will say, other than Melissa, this is called an IFB, by the way. This is my earpiece, and sometimes it drapes over my shoulder, and you're like, what is that? So it's how when I'm actually on the news, I can hear the director and producer and the anchors and stuff talk to me. So I'm sorry, that was kind of just hanging there. Anyway, the rest of the tropics, not much in the form of development right now. So let's get through Melissa, and then we'll take the next 7 days to just kind of watch and wait. But beyond Melissa, no tropical formation expected over the next 7 days. And really over the east coast of the United States, with all the troughs kind of lining up, the east coast would be more or less protected from kind of direct landfalling situation. At the moment, anything coming from the east, we still need to pay close attention to the Caribbean and the Gulf as we go through November, because there is history, isn't there? All right, this is our in-house forecast modeling. And gosh, notice how it just sits it still. I mean, the steering current's so weak that this is Monday, and that's why the cone shows Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's as far out as this modeling will go. But, it's Tuesday, Wednesday before it finally moves over Cuba. But in this scenario, Haiti gets pummeled. Jamaica still gets, some really, really bad conditions, strong winds and rain. But being on the left side is not quite as bad as being on that right side. This would be a worst case scenario for Haiti. And then Cuba, that would be a very, very strong storm, already forecast to be a 4. But this is your rainfall totals. This would be kind of what the European model is leaning towards for Jamaica, Guantanamo Bay, kind of that eastern sliver of Cuba, and for southwestern Haiti and Dominican Republic, frankly, southern Dominican, rainfall up over 10 inches. And Jamaica, already very saturated, always very rainy anyhow, but saturated there, mountainous, all those streams and rivers that come out of the mountains with that flooding potential. It's not ideal. And I've actually had several people messaging me, and you're always welcome to do the same if you join me on my Facebook page, asking about trips to the Caribbean, asking about trips to Jamaica in particular, Dominican, Mexico. And so anytime you got those kind of questions, love it if you find me on Facebook and slide in the messages. And I'm happy to help you as best I can. But the reality with this one was that the folks who were asking me about Jamaica, and it's like, bearer of bad news, but just bearer of reality. You can't go. It is not the time to be traveling there. And really, A question I had about Cozumel. I know there were some folks traveling there, and the cruises that go out of Tampa that way, Western Caribbean, maybe better, but still pretty bumpy. And you can see this is your arrival of tropical storm force winds Tuesday night into Wednesday, the Bahamas. I mean, this is still a very slow roll. Strong wind shear in the Gulf, though. So why do we think, a lot of times we'll watch storms like this and say, oh, we got to be careful. If this thing gets into the Gulf of America, you're going to have issues. But we wouldn't. All right, so wind shear with that jet dipping so far south, those are some very, very strong winds. It just essentially is a brick wall of wind. That is a brick wall all the way Tuesday into Wednesday. Look at that trough digging in Wednesday, Thursday, and then by Friday, that trough is passed. That's October 31st, and we'll see all those things steered away from us. But with that, we got some cooler air that's going to be filtering in, looks like, in the long-range forecast for the end of the week and towards Halloween. So our water temperatures in the Caribbean right now in those upper 80s, so near 90. It is a little bit cooling off. It's still very, very hot in the Gulf, don't get me wrong, but relative to the Caribbean, that's the hot spot right now. So, water vapor imagery shows you kind of that brick wall, and it's the color of a brick almost. It's like stucco. It's that tan beige color across Cuba. You see Melissa there in the yellows and blues. That's really, really moist air running up into a wall right now of dry air and shear. So with that, it can't move, and it's going to have that effect of just sitting kind of still and kind of being smushed on its left side. However, those conditions are going to start getting more favorable for development. More moisture is going to move in there, weakening of that shear. So we see it get a little bit better organized and ultimately become a hurricane. Perhaps by tomorrow, we'll see Hurricane Melissa here. And then quickly, I mean, by Sunday, could it even be a Category 4 hurricane, as that's your infrared look at the cold cloud tops. All right, let's come back home now. We'll kind of get through the rest of our evening and looking ahead to the week. And current temperatures, middle 70s out at our beach, low 80s inland southeast Georgia, right at 80 right now at Jacksonville International Airport and 78 NAS Jax. Your dew point's a measure of how much moisture is in the atmosphere. So when you're looking at 30s and 40s, that is dry air, and it's been that way. So Suwannee River Valley up through the Okefenokee Swamp into Waycross. It's so dry that while there aren't any official alerts out for burning, you shouldn't unless you have high control and you've got some ways to extinguish fire, because as winds do start to pick up out of the northeast, you're going to have the risk of things igniting. I mean, it's just so bone dry. It also allows things to cool off pretty quickly at night, hence the middle 40s and low 40s we saw for some folks. We were waking up Thursday morning. A little more humidity for St. Augustine and south, but we do, as forecasters, we watch where the winds will be lightest for quick cooling. We look for the lower dew points for cooling as well, and that's kind of what helps us think about what our low temperatures will be in the morning. As you can see, though, out at the beach, and this is just going to ramp up, our current winds in that 15 to almost 20 mile an hour range, and it's only going to get higher through Saturday, and then by Sunday, gusts to 40. Potentially seeing some showers on our beaches Sunday afternoon. I know we got Sea and Sky Air Show to think about. Small craft advisory for our weekend. The wave's just going to be picking up. Rip current risk is high because of those strong northeast winds too. So not the best time to go swimming out of the beach. Waking up in the morning, we're in the middle 50s, a little more mild at the beach, middle and upper 60s, and towards Waycross, Valdosta, Brunswick, low mid 50s. But I will say Waycross, wouldn't be surprised considering how dry that air is. If you see a few spots maybe just outside of town in kind of the unincorporated areas of Ware County, Pierce County, you would see some upper 40s. So another cool start on a Saturday with a warming trend into the lower 70s. Saturday, winds increase, isolated shower. Sunday, that nor'easter setup, windy at the beach. And with that nor'easter setup, we could see some isolated showers and thunderstorms as we go through our Sunday. So let's look at the long-range forecast. So high pressure is going to start shifting back to the east-northeast. That front, one of the fronts that's going to help push Melissa away, is going to cross late Sunday night into Monday, bringing us our next best chance of rain. We'll take a closer look at those rain chances, what we can expect as we go through Sunday night into Monday, our weather impact alert. So stay with us. All right, welcome back. So I mentioned the weather impact alert, and we've had it for Monday. We're going to put it into Sunday late afternoon, overnight into Monday. And that's because at the beach, primarily Sunday. And I'm not asking anyone or even suggesting you cancel plans outside. Don't. You know, we got the Sea and Sky show. We got all kinds of things happening on the for our weekend. And Sunday, I'm just really focused on all those people going out to the beach, going to be watching the show on the sand, and that is where our best potential for rain is. So confidence kind of growing in a higher impact event, even if it's just a little bit of rain out there. I want you prepared in just what would be kind of a life impacting sort of thing. In terms of, you need to take rain gear with you, all right? Or at least know that you might have to hustle to the car at some point later in the afternoon. So I'm thinking 3 p.m. And beyond, and really just the beach for Sunday. If you're a 95, if you're downtown, if you're parts of St. Johns County, west of I-95, you may be wondering, what the heck is he talking about? But I really want, and I'm talking to folks who will be at the beach. I'm talking to folks who are going to be along the coast, maybe live out there, or going to go to the Sea and Sky show, Sunday p.m. beach. We'll watch. Now, Monday, with the system that's coming across, we got to watch for commute times. So potential for some rain during our commute. Widely scattered showers, even some thunderstorms possible Sunday night too. So if you hear those rumbles of thunder, we'll need the rain gear, the commute caution. That's the big thing I want you to know. So I mentioned Sea and Sky show. If you're picking between Saturday, Sunday, Saturday's probably better, but it's still windy. All right, so you're going to be out of the beach. It's going to be windy. That's impactful just for, holding on to your hat and not letting those umbrellas and tents blow away. Sunday, the better chance of a shower or a thunderstorm late. And here's what I mean by late. So let's go into our higher res futurecast modeling. This is our in-house model. Gives us an idea of a really good idea of timing and rain chances. And notice how Sunday afternoon, those showers come right up the coastline. That was between 3 and 5 p.m. We'll see a few showers, coastal St. John's, right up into Duval. So Sea and Sky ends at 5, but this would be what if you're trying to head home. And then by Monday, widely scattered showers, some stronger thunderstorms possible in those reds, oranges, yellows, and this could line up certainly with the morning commute. And by the evening commute, things do begin to improve, but we'll keep those rain chances small Monday night into Tuesday as well. So what's next? Okay, so we get past Monday, we've got another front coming through in time for the end of our week. And as Melissa gets steered away by this first trough, watch what happens with a second trough that comes in. This is Tuesday, all right? Now, Wednesday, Thursday, there's that front coming through, really shoving Melissa out to open water. And then that's Halloween. That front comes in. We've got some cool air coming in for Halloween. So I don't think we're sweating in our Halloween costumes this year. That front with making Melissa very likely pass well east of the state of Florida as cold front dips south. Cooler, drier air by the end of the week and into our Halloween, which is just 7 days out now. All right, daylight savings time. That's ending. 9